Okay. Man, would it stop? Okay. Here we go. Are we here? Okay. What is happening with this? Okay.
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All
Okay.
right. I think you went live already, cuz.
Yeah, I
Oh,
went
okay.
ahead and pushed the button. Yeah. So I think look, I think it's fine now. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
How you
Okay.
feeling? How you doing? We can chat a bit while we wait for some people to come in.
Yeah. I'm doing. I'll
Yeah.
say. Hold on, because I don't see your face anymore.
That's me. That's on me because I just went out for a sec.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
as long as you can hear me, I'm gonna come back on it in 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes.
All right.
Tell me about your day. What's going on?
Just feeling all the feels.
Yeah.
Feeling all the feels. Just
Mm-hmm.
paying attention to what's going on and in the states, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So,
Mm-hmm.
hmm let me see. I'm trying to Instagram. I guess it is going. I guess I don't know if mine's delayed or what.
You're what?
The live. I'm looking at the live, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, on my computer. But I see one thing up. So hey, we're here.
Okay. Okay, just give me like 30 more seconds. I'm just trying to make sure I have this all written out.
There's something.
That's some nice background
Oh
music you got.
yeah, I'm in this. It's a festival, jazz festival going on in Cuba. So
Oh, in Cuba.
yeah, in Cuba, and so I'm just yeah, I'm feeling that. So okay, so I see it on Facebook. So that's it. Okay, so it is what it is on here. Yeah, and then
Okay.
it's got captions on Facebook.
Hey, see, we're in the 21st century now. This is 2025. That's good because that makes it accessible to everyone. I love that. I'm team caption, especially since I'm 32 now, and like I need captions to hear.
Okay, then. Okay, 32. Okay. Look, I'm sitting up here like I can barely see. I'm very excited. So I can barely see on the screen. And so yeah. Okay. But I'm hoping that since it's on live on Facebook, it'll still be there after the live. So because I don't see where I could what does it say recording in progress? Never mind. So no, we're good, man.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. You want to get started?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right.
Yes, ma'am.
So I guess I just introduce myself real quick. My name is Michaela. I love to travel, and that's my interest in talking with you. And I know you have a lot of interesting things going on for Black people, specifically, people in general, Black people in particular. And it made me excited. So I just wanted to make sure that we can put the information out there. And our connection is that we are cousins.
Yeah.
Yay. Even though we only met in person maybe once or twice, but apparently we run in the same circles. You've done a lot of
Uh-huh.
work in the entertainment area where I was like in my little youth era. So
Yeah.
yeah, we learned that yesterday. But
Yeah.
you are currently in Veracruz, and that's what we're talking about today. You've been there for 30 days,
Mm-hmm.
and you've done a lot of traveling on your own. And you have some projects related to that. So first, can you tell us who Belisa is, what your interests are, hobbies, and how you came to be in Veracruz?
Um, well, I am Valisa Woods, born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm an educator. I'm a mother of two adult children. Um, you know, um, I'm on my path. You know, I'm on my journey. At this point in life, and so I've done a lot of things. Well, first, I guess I will, shout out Jackson State University. I have my
Okay.
master's from Jackson State. I have a specialist in from the University of Mississippi, Ole Miss. So I've done a lot throughout my years. I was an educator for 15 years, and my last assignment was in Oakland, California, as an assistant principal. And yeah, that's a little of me. I'm black, black.
Black, black. Can you talk about this media? I mean, your name on here is V Woods Media. What's that media part?
So V Woods Media, that is my business. That's my business that I started last year. I've been doing a lot, so the name has changed a few times over the years, but now Woods Media. So basically just trying to continue to educate my people on, the people that's living outside the US that look like us, and just let them know, hey, we are everywhere, and we have history everywhere. And a lot of us don't know that, not only in the US, but in
Mm-hmm.
South America, Central America, not only in Africa, that, in the Caribbean, we're everywhere.
Yes, I shared with you yesterday. I just got back from Honduras, and my husband and his sister were making fun of me because, like, I just every time I saw a black person, I was like, "Ooh, ooh, ooh," because it feels good to see yourself outside of what you
It does.
know, and then that information was kept from us for so long. I mean, it still is, and of course, it's being rolled back even more so now in the U.S.
Exactly. I you know, it feels good when you can go to another country and the people embrace you as one of them,
Mm-hmm.
because you look like one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, and you don't get that in the US. You know, it's a lot different in the States than it is in other countries. And I think people try to bring the mentality of the States and thinking that, people are want to do harm, cause harm to you. And that's simply not the case in other countries.
Mm.
Um,
Please talk more about that. Talk about the specific countries you visited and your specific experiences while traveling while black or being black in these spaces.
okay. Normally I solo travel. Normally I solo travel. Um, and I've been to, of course, been to Mexico, different cities and towns in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Jamaica, of course, um, Belize, and Colombia, Cartagena, Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
hmm So, and multiple cities in towns in Belize. But all these places are places that have people that look like you and I. And everywhere that I've gone, I've been embraced. It hasn't been an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
What does
then
embrace look like when you say embrace? What is
the,
what does that
the
look like?
embrace. Well, I'll give you an example. Well, I have a couple of examples actually. The one that the one that really kind of was surprising to me was in Belize
Mm-hmm.
and the Garifuna community. Before I even got to Belize, and I was in the airport, LAX airport, coming from San Francisco to go to Belize, um, I met two ladies that were Belizean. They just so happen to live in the States now.
Uh-huh.
And we were talking about the history of the Garifuna.
Who are the
We
Garifuna?
were, huh?
Who are the Garifuna people for people who might
The
not
the
know?
Garifuna people are Afro Indigenous people from St. Vincent, from the island of St. Vincent, that pretty much were exiled from the country because they did not want to be enslaved. They fought back. They fought the British
Mm-hmm.
for their freedom. It's yeah. It's they have their own story, but like I said, the Belizean ladies that I met, they were basically giving me tips and were like, hey, tell them you're Belizean American. So they'll give you the Belizean price versus the
Okay.
American price,
Okay,
and
discount.
my thing was, my first thing was like, because I didn't know. So the first thing I was like, well, are they gonna believe that I am Belizean? Both of them were like, yes. And I didn't understand it until I got to the Garifuna
Mm-hmm.
community. It was like, oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And again, what that looked like when I actually got to the Garifuna communities of Dangria and Hopkins, basically people thought I was Garifuna. And they spoke their language to me. They were like, oh, you look like my sister. Oh, I thought you were Belizean, because as soon as I open my mouth, it's like you hear that southern tang. So it's like, like, oh, wait a minute, so,
That's different.
but yeah, but it was like, I had a taxi driver and he said, oh, I thought you grew up in the States, but you came down to visit your family. And that was my first time even being there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he automatically assumed that I was one of them.
Yeah.
I went to the Garifuna Museum. I'm gonna call her my little cousin too. My little cousin opened up the museum for me so I could see, so I could tour it. I mean, just show love. Like,
Mm.
I was literally, when I was leaving, I was literally like in tears.
Oh.
Because I was like, man. And it was on my face because people were like, you don't look like you're ready to go. And so,
Oh. Because he
and
found
they,
family.
yeah. And so someone said, um, well, just change your flight.
Mm-hmm.
I had already changed my flight. You know what?
Wow.
So, and I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I gotta go back home or
Yeah.
whatever. So, but yeah, definitely. I ended up visiting a school there in Hopkins, and just talking to the principal and talking to some of the teachers and just seeing the difference in the children of Belize.
What'd you see? Well, how were they different?
Um, it was different from American children. Just say, I mean, they were ready to learn. It was an
Mm.
elementary. I think it was K through 8 or something. But they were ready to learn.
Wow, and you're
They
an
were
educator, so like you know the difference. You can really spot
right,
that and feel that.
right,
Okay, why
right.
do you think that is?
Well, that's a different culture.
Mm-hmm.
One, that's a different culture. They definitely want you to. They definitely knew their history. That's the key. That's the difference. They know who they are.
Hello,
And growing
tomorrow's
up in
Black History Month. Okay.
okay, and growing up in the United States, you don't really know who you are or where you come from. You got to damn near investigate. You got to do the work
Yeah.
in order to figure out, oh, okay, I come from this.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not being taught in school. It's not being taught in school in the US. But that was one example of how, I felt embraced. It was no problem. Um, and also Mexico and Veracruz.
Mm-hmm.
I have, oh, my bad.
You're just
Man,
so excited.
yeah, Veracruz, very different, very different from other places in Mexico. I visit all over Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Cabo, Puerto Vallarta. I've been to Guadalajara, Mexico City, Tijuana,
Thanks.
Cancun, Playa del Carmen. I can make a long list of places I've been in Mexico. There is nothing like Veracruz. Nothing like Veracruz. I was in different parts of Mexico. Of course, everything is nice.
Mm-hmm.
I get to Veracruz. I get to Yanga specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was my first time where people were like, hey, not the first time, because I've been asked before, but basically I get more of a, hey, I want to take a picture with you.
Mm.
but they say it in Spanish. But they,
Right.
yeah,
Did it
and
weird you out at first when that was
huh?
happening? Did it weird you out at all? Did you feel uncomfortable at first when
No,
people were asking? No.
no, I'm a different type of person. So I'm used to people. I'm used to people telling me all their business.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm used to people coming up talking to me, and so it wasn't really a big deal because I knew it wasn't. I knew it was out of love.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, they know who they are. They consider the people in Veracruz that are my skin color or
Mm-hmm.
dark. They say they're black.
Yeah.
They say they're black. They don't even say Mexican. They say they're black
Mm-hmm.
because they know their history. So again, that's a difference between growing up in the U.S. where you don't know who you are. So your attitude towards people may be a little different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these people are like it's all love. It's all love.
How much did that play a part in you choosing to go there, to stay there?
They played a huge part.
Right.
Played a huge part. I want to be somewhere where I am embraced, where the people are kind, are loving,
Yeah.
they appreciate me. They're not tolerating me being here. They appreciate me. And so when you don't get that a lot in the States, when you don't get that a lot in the States, then that becomes okay, I deserve this.
Mm-hmm.
I deserve to be treated well. Period.
Yeah. That
Hmm.
sounds very healing. So I mean, that's a great place to start on the whole 30-day thing. So you've been there now for 30 days. So what can you tell us about your experience there so
Well,
far?
this was a different experience because this time I have my son with me. My
Um,
son too. Um, and he was shocked at people coming up, wanting to take pictures with me. And then they started asking him to take pictures. And they told him how beautiful his hair is, how
oh,
beautiful his skin is,
ooh,
how beautiful my skin. So
yeah.
you know who's coming up to people in the States talking about come on.
Nobody, ain't nobody checking for us like I mean, in the community, of course, you have that,
Mhm.
but like on an
Yeah.
anti-blackness is very prevalent, of course.
Hmm. But um, so I have him with me. So what it's been because I made the connections that I've made, because my first visit was in May of last year. That was my first visit to Veracruz. Um, I didn't really know what to expect, but like I said, when I got here, I was like, okay, this is this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I kept coming. So I think this last time would be the fifth time I've been here. So I because like I said, because I kept coming, I kept making connections with people. I have a Spanish immersion tutor and tour guide, Mimo. I
Mm-hmm.
call him, his name is Guillermo, and everyone else calls him Memo, but I call
Mm-hmm.
him. He has introduced me to people. I got here. He before I got here, he had connected me with a realtor. Um, we have our taxi driver, Alfredo. Anytime I need to go somewhere, I'm I'm calling Alfredo. Who else? He actually had somebody that could possibly do my locks.
Oh,
And so
dang.
I'm like, hey,
All right, he was showing out.
hey, and somebody can do my locks. Oh, okay. We're good. We're good. So he has hooked that up. The people of Yanga, because I've been there multiple times and I've connected, even though I don't speak Spanish, they don't speak English.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they still want to connect with me. Like in one of my experience when going to Younger, I was in Younger they have a carnival that's in August. So last August I was in Younger because I'm doing research. I'm learning more about Younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in a cafe with other people, and a lady who looked very familiar to me. I don't know why. I had never seen her before. I looked and I said, man, she looks familiar. And she was walking towards me.
Mm.
And she was telling the people I were with, hey, I want to take a picture with her. And she needs to come to Carnival on Sunday. So she'll be here because that's the night, I guess, where all the dancers, everybody's coming in that look like me.
Mm-hmm.
They're there. And so she wanted me to be there on this specific day.
Mm-hmm.
But I it was a connection. And
Yeah, I can see that spirit was like choo 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 choo.
right. And it was like, okay, we were just actually my son and I and Alfredo and Mimo, we were at her house a couple weeks ago. And she fed us, of course, because hey, you're not going to somebody's house and they not,
Yeah.
feed you or something. So
Nah.
but she was like, I mean, we are just happy to see one another.
Yeah.
We don't speak each other's language, but it's like this my auntie.
Yeah. You speak the energetic language, the genetic
Mhm.
language. Y'all
Yes.
have that connection, and she knew it.
Yes.
So at what point, like, we kind of jumped right into you going to Veracruz, but when did you decide that you were actually leaving the U.S.? Like, were you doing all that traveling around Mexico already, trying to find a place, a new home, or you just so happened to
Yeah.
go there and thought, this is my new home?
No, I started traveling in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And my first visit out of the country was to Cancun, Mexico. Um, and so I'm like, okay, I knew I was going to leave the States.
Okay.
I've been in education for many years, over a decade, and basically have been traumatized. There's a lot of trauma that comes with
Yeah.
you being an educator in public school education. Um, and enough was enough pretty much. So I knew I had to figure out something else because I knew that wasn't going to be the end all be all for me. So I started traveling and trying to figure out, okay, where do I want to leave and go to? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, my kids were grown, so I had no reason to really.
Yeah.
And so, and I feel like I had to wait. I had to wait for that. I had to wait for them to be grown, for them to go their way or figure something out, and then start doing things for me. I became a little bit off of it. I became an empty nester in 2023. And that was the first time that I had my own space to myself.
Mm.
I was a young mother. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I had my first child in 19. So all these years, it's always been I've had a kid to take care
Yeah.
of, two kids to take care of. And so me becoming an empty nester was like, this is my first time that I'm just having time to be me. And I'm not somebody, I'm still somebody's mom, but
Yeah.
I'm not taking care of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
The person I'm responsible for is me. So I said, well, I need to live the life that I want to live. I want to live that soft life.
Okay.
Okay? The soft life. I no longer, man, the hustle in me has been many, many years, many,
Yeah.
many years, trying to take care of your kids and trying to take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't have to do that, then you say, okay, well, I want to go be somewhere. I ain't got to worry about that. I'm not worried about, if somebody is going to um not treat me well
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason.
Mm.
I'm not doing that anymore. Because again, when you know you deserve certain things, then it makes it you can go on to different places. You can
Yeah,
figure
it's easier to navigate.
right, exactly. So at first I started traveling throughout Mexico, and then I started like on my birthday. My birthday trips would be um to different countries outside of Mexico. So that's how I ended up. The first year I think I was in Colombia, in Cartagena, Colombia. Then after that I was in like the Belize trip was a birthday trip.
Okay.
So every time it's my birthday, I try to go outside of Mexico and go some other places. But Mex tell me the question real quick. Well, because I can get off.
But like when you were traveling, were you traveling in search of a home? Like, did you already know you were
Right.
ready to leave the
So
U.S.?
at first I thought I was going to be in Playa del Carmen.
Okay, that's a
Playa
popular place.
has, huh?
I was just saying that's a popular location.
Right. You got plenty of black folks in Playa del Carmen. I
Mm-hmm.
thought I was going to, though I didn't meet any of them, I knew they were there. So
Yeah.
in 2022, I was doing my research. So not only was I traveling to different traveling throughout Mexico and different countries, I also was on YouTube. I was trying to, hey, I'm doing the research. I'm looking at other black women who left and went wherever they went, and then they were paying maybe a third of what I was paying in rent
Mm-hmm.
for what I would call luxury living, because
Yes.
you have I was seeing black women that were paying $1,200, $1,300 for 3 bedrooms, 2 3 baths or more. You have a housekeeper, you have a gardener, you you're not doing too much of anything. You have the help. So I'm like, wait a minute. You mean tell me I ain't gotta wash some clothes?
Right. And that's the soft life you're talking about, right?
That's the soft
That's
life I'm learning.
also touching on one of the questions, and we talked about it yesterday. Just one of the privileges we have of being in America, even though we're oppressed here, like being a Black American does come with some privileges. And then the irony of the current situation with ICE, the rampant ICE deportations of people, not only of course to Mexico, but that's the idea that comes to mind, like in the media, is people going back to Mexico.
Right.
So can you talk about that, like irony of people being shipped back and trying to get to the US, and then the privileges that Black Americans have, even though we're a nation within a nation, oppressed class of people, but having privileges by going outside of the U.S.
That US passport grants you a lot of privilege. You have people that like to say that they're gonna what do they say? Like you may want to like denounce, like
Oh,
I'm
like
no,
burn the passport,
yeah, huh?
like burn their passport, their American
Well,
passport.
passport, but they want to denounce that they're an American citizen type of thing.
Uh huh.
Never do that. Never do that. You have a privilege in other countries because you're American, because that money, holds a lot of weight. So when they see a lot of countries, when they see Americans, they see money, and that's what this
Mm-hmm.
thing is pretty much about. They see
Mm-hmm.
you bringing money into their local economy.
Mm.
And with the deportations, the reason why Mexicans leave to go to the US is to make money. They also go to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I've met in my travels, I've talked to plenty of Mexicans that were going to Canada. They were bypassing the US. They were going to Canada. And they were going to Canada to make money to
Yeah.
send back to their family here.
Yeah.
That's all it's about. Eventually they come back to Mexico.
Yeah.
It's about making money, because a lot of Mexicans don't have, for whatever reason, they're not able to make the money that they want to make, and they know they can go to the US, they can make money, send it back, and their families live a good life.
Yeah.
That's basically what it's about.
And also, what I'm
Nope.
hearing from you is that you're like implanting yourself into the community. So what I'm getting at is that you're not creating like maybe a hierarchy within the community that you're joining. You are joining actually the community and being in commune with the people there.
Yes, I'm not here to be like, oh, I'm better than all y'all.
Right.
No,
Not exploitative.
no. That is no, that's simply not it. And what I found with the people of Mexico, very nice. They would rather, and to their women. Let me tell you, Mexican men treat their mothers, women very differently than, than
Okay.
Americans. They
What do you
very,
see? What do you see the difference is?
let's just say, I'm gonna give an example. I was in Oaxaca. Oh, that's another place. I forgot the name that. Oaxaca. I started going to like Afro Mexican states and looking for, the black folks. And so I was in Oaxaca and I went on a tour of Monte Alban. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but my Spanish, I have Paquito Spanish. Paquito. I'm learning. And that's one thing that they will do. Like if you speak English,
Mm-hmm.
ask for some of them, if you like in hotels or something like that,
Yeah.
um they do speak a good amount of English. And so what would happen to me, I may say something in English and they tell me what it is in Spanish. So I've had plenty of people who've tried to teach me some Spanish as I go along. But back to Monte Alban. So I was on a tour and our tour guide, it was a male. Our tour guide, he's telling us about, we're on this tour, he's showing us around.
Mm-hmm.
And I see it was like an older woman that was like on the ground. And there was like maybe 3, 4 men around her trying to help.
Yeah.
Tour guide stopped the tour and ran over there to see how he could help. And my thing,
We love to see it. Yes.
it's like, hey, because there was a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I've even seen like, so I was in a school in Oakland, elementary school in Oakland. And I've seen where one of my students, his mom would come and pick him up from school. And basically you're seeing he kissed her on the cheek. And
The
happy to see, they
uh-huh.
happy to see one another. That is very rare.
Yeah.
See, but
Oh.
that's family.
Yeah.
It's a difference. It's a difference. It's a difference. Just loving. You want to take care of the woman. Yeah. 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 I have one more story. I was on a plane. It was I was leaving Mexico City, and it was around Valentine's. And I met this guy. Actually, I was on a plane going. I don't know where I was going, but I actually asked the flight attendant because I was on a full row and there was plenty of. So I'm like, "Can I move?" And she was like, "Yeah." And so I see this guy sitting. I was down the aisle seat. Before I could sit down, he was like, "I love your hair."
Okay.
You know,
I thought you were gonna say I love you. I was like, wait, hold on.
no, I love your hair, and we talked that whole flight.
Aw.
But it was when we got ready to go out. I was go get off the plane and everything. I was like, oh, no, I'm gonna have to go to through customs again. I didn't, but he was like, well, I'm gonna tell them you with me. What?
Wow. Okay. I mean, I don't know if that will happen to everyone though. You got the locks and stuff. And he was probably just trying to, he was flirting. That's what that was.
But the thing is, yeah, they will flirt or whatever, but still, it's still
Yeah, I'm
a
joking.
difference.
I'm sure that everyone is very loving, or like you said, it's a difference in them being very open with it, and caring for the women, the mothers, grandmothers.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I, I can't say I had a bad experience. Just put it that way. I
Oh,
can't
that's
say
great.
I
No, I'm
can't.
happy for you.
It's
So,
more. I hold your bag. Can I open?
ah, just making life easier. The soft life, like you said again, it's the soft life.
Just being nice.
Okay, so going back to the 30 days that you've been there and your experiences, you mentioned that Mimo, is that his name?
Yeah.
He was hooking everything up for you, like helping you with real estate, trying to find a place, even down to the loctician. So, how much did you prepare before? Like, we know you had to get a house. What other things did you prepare for, and what would you have done differently? Like, what tips can you give to other people who are looking to leave the U.S. and go to Mexico in particular?
Well, one thing that I mean, basically, if you got some money, that's your prep. That's your preparation. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a large amount. That's I don't feel it does. I don't feel
Okay.
like um
Why do you say that?
well, if you can maneuver, if you if you're living a pretty decent life in the States, like I would say for instance, because even though I'm from Memphis, from the South, I've lived in of course I lived in Tennessee, I've lived in Mississippi, I've lived in Nevada, I've lived in Vegas, and I lived in the Bay. And the Bay is one of the most expensive places
Mm. Yeah,
that
no,
you
when you
live.
said the Bay, I like my heart was just like, ugh,
Okay.
I
Look,
know.
I moved to Oakland and a 3 bedroom. I was paying, and I used to like hate to even tell people this. I was paying $3,500, to live in Oakland. But hey, if you're able to live decently in the States, you're definitely able to be okay in other countries. Well, I'm gonna speak on Mexico, Belize. I'm gonna speak on Latin American countries.
Mhm. Mhm.
If you're struggling in the States, then that's something different.
Mhm. Now, what did you use to make sure you were like checking all the requirements to be able to stay there? And are like, do you have to become a citizen? Like, you got dual citizenship, or what's that situation like?
No, so basically, my son and I entered Veracruz January 1st. At that time, I was kind of leery of were they going to actually give me 180 days? Because with your passport, you can definitely live in Mexico for 180 days.
Okay.
What people have been doing for years is after 180 days, they'll leave out and come back in and do another 180
They
days.
just keep doing that in cycles.
Yeah, some
Okay.
people that but what's happening now is after the 180 days, I can like on that once that expires, I can go and say, hey, I want temporary residence. Now there are some income requirements if you do it a different way. Because I think right now, I think they want you to make like over $4,000 monthly, or show that you bring it in $4,000. This way, I'm not about anything,
Mhm.
So, not until after my 180 days is up. If you
Mhm.
stay here for 180 days and not necessarily be bringing in 4,000, whatever income requirements, you can take care of yourself. Not you can take care of yourself here. So it would be
Mhm.
more likely that they grant you that temporary residency. So you're granted that temporary residency, and I think you have to do that for like 4 years, and then you get permanent. Or you can marry a Mexican, or have a baby in Mexico.
You about to, which route you about to go after these 180 days?
If I find me an Afro Mexican brother, hey, I have no issue with that.
Okay.
If I have no issue with that. Now, if but if after the 108 days I got to apply or whatever, that's one. That's but in between, you never know what'll happen in 6 months. Hey.
Yes.
But yeah, I think for me that was the easiest way. People that are
Mhm.
retired, they can come. They can go to the Mexican consulate in the States or whatever, or they can come down here and do it, whatever. It's various ways you can get citizenship.
Okay. And then what would you have done differently, if anything?
Probably would have come a little sooner.
Dang. Okay.
I was trying to, like, I knew I was ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So my last year of being an assistant principal, I struggled throughout that whole year. Just with, I mean, it was damaging to my mental health. It was because I had already been traumatized from the many years of being in education. So I knew it was time for me to leave. And but I think I ended up starting the next, just thinking, okay, I'm gonna start the next school year, and I'm gonna do a couple months, and I'm gonna collect a couple checks, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
then and the universe and my ancestors said, no, you ain't finna do none of that. You finna come on up out of there now.
Yeah.
And so I ended up resigning, and and so I had my son return back home to me, to Berkeley, and so I said, okay, I'll be here so he can get in school, he can get himself together, and then I'm leaving. And that didn't turn out the way it was supposed to, but it didn't turn out the way I thought.
Yeah.
And one day, like, my birthday is in October, and so like a few days before my birthday, um, I I woke up that one morning and I clearly heard it's time to go. And so I started preparing for that. I sold my truck. I sold my truck right before I left. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I informed my previous landlord because he thought my previous landlord thought I was going to be gone. He was really, when I told him I was signing my lease again, he was kind of like,
He knew too.
yeah, he knew, he
Uh,
knew. But I was trying, So,
mm-hmm.
uh, but he was like, okay, whatever you gonna do. But yeah, so I informed him that, like, yeah, it's time for me to go. I had been in the Bay for 5 years, and I had done all that I needed to do.
Mm.
Nothing else. There was nothing else for me to do.
So why not like Ghana or Nigeria? Because there are a lot of people, and they're granting citizenship to, not them. I think mainly just Ghana, but they're granting citizenship to African Americans. So like, why not travel to those places and try to establish there?
Well, I have no desire to be in Africa. Um, I'm also I didn't mention this, but I'm also an African American studies major
Mm-hmm.
at Barrett College in Oakland. And once you know your history, mm-mm, like you, so I'll say this: the colonizer did steal a lot of us, and some of us were freely given to the colonizer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And one thing that I saw, like, in my studies, is where you have professors in universities in different countries in Africa that are saying, like, they knew exactly what they were doing, and they have yet to apologize
A lot of
for.
them have, cousin. They apologize.
Oh, okay,
I didn't know. This is another conversation when we get off. I
right,
was
right.
an Africana studies major too.
Yeah, okay, so okay, somebody apologize. Okay, I'm I'm
They
good.
giving us land. They giving us citizenship. It's still a no for you.
I no, I have no. I'm sorry. My ancestors did not lead me to that. At no point, at no point has anything came to my mind to say, "Oh, you ought to live in Africa." Now, years ago, I used to say that, "Oh, I want to
Uh-huh.
live in Africa." Mm-mm. At one point, I did want to go to Ghana because I wanted to visit the castle, but I don't need to experience that. That's trauma in itself, and
Mm-hmm.
embedded in our DNA from our. I don't need to do that. And then I heard where it was like a white person that's running it, and they run a restaurant. It just doesn't even sound anywhere near appealing. Um,
We
Yeah.
taking a trip to Nigeria, Ghana together. Watch. I foresee it in the future. I'm putting it out there. I'm putting it out there, cousin.
But look, I tell people all the time, I'm kind of scared to go to Nigeria because I think they're gonna keep me.
What?
Because living in the Bay, there's a lot of Nigerians, and where you are, there are a lot of Nigerians.
Yeah.
Um, um,
Okay, we'll save it for another time. We'll save it for another time. Focusing back on Veracruz, where you are, 30 days. You told us everything you did to prepare. What you would have done differently is just to come earlier. So what is your advice then? We'll end it on that. What's your advice to Black people that are looking to move to your area in particular, or just get out of the US in general? And sorry, I want to also say, like, you mentioned when we were talking yesterday that you did not leave because of Trump. Because I mean, we know the U.S.
no,
has been the U.S. for as long as it's been,
yeah,
yeah, since it was birthed.
so,
So,
yeah. Like I said, I started thinking about leaving in 2022,
mm-hmm,
and it's funny because I did used to say, that y'all gonna vote Trump back in, and I'm gonna be out, and that's pretty much what happened.
mm-hmm,
That I'm like, yeah, because I didn't expect for it to be as crazy as
mm-hmm,
it is. But yeah, I knew I was gonna be out. I
yeah.
knew I was gonna be out. Hmm.
And your advice for us here who are thinking about getting out, like myself.
Please, please get your passport. At the very least, please get your passport.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's not trying to leave.
Right.
Some people think it's gonna be just fine.
And some people can't leave, and I know I have a guilt
Right.
about that as well. Like the people who are left here, or who
Some
have to stay
people,
here.
the people that can leave should leave. The people that can leave, please have your passport so that you can escape at certain points. You might need to leave out for a little while just to get your mind right.
Mm-hmm.
You may need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And some people just need to stay and fight. Everybody, all of the Black people don't need to leave and go to other countries. Some people need to stay and fight. Because the States is absolutely our country. Our
Mm-hmm.
ancestors built it. So no, but for me, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah, I'm sure
I, I
there are plenty of people who have that mentality, and there have been since like enslavement. There's always been an argument: should we go back? Well, it specifically would have been: should we go back to the continent? Should we stay
right.
here? No, this is our country. We built this. Well, they don't want us here, and it's just causing a strife. Let's get out of here. So that's always going to be the
Yes, it's
argument.
be that.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, everybody's not leaving. No, everyone doesn't want to leave. Some people want to be perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
With enduring, because that's what we've done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's what we've
Yeah.
done. But like I said, I would for the people who are thinking about leaving, make sure that you visit these places. I'm a part of a couple of Black expats, and since Trump has been in office, actually, the election, I saw of people, upkick of people that were coming in, you know, help us get out of here type of thing.
Yeah.
No one can tell you what your experience is going to be. No one can do that. What you would need to do is go ahead and visit wherever it is you want to be and get a feel for it.
Mm-hmm.
Get a feel for where you want to stay.
Mm-hmm.
You might. I don't advise anybody to say, okay, say for instance, somebody said, "Oh, I want to move to Cancun," whatever, and they had never been to Cancun in their life.
Yeah, it's a setup.
I would never advise them to do that. That's just like even if you were in the States and you lived in Detroit and you wanted to go live in Chicago. You thought you wanted to go and you had never been to Chicago, but you just
Mm-hmm.
said you felt like you need to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You should go visit Chicago first and figure that thing out. stay, visit the country, stay in a matter not just 3 or 4 days. At some point, you're gonna have to come for a couple of weeks at least. Imagine how your life would be. What are you doing on a day-to-day basis? Those type of things. You don't know that on a resort.
Right. Yeah.
You don't know those things on a resort. The resort is very different from you staying in your own place and being with it's very different. So I would advise people to, yeah, you could do the resort. I did the resort. I love resorts. Fine. All inclusive. Yeah, great. But check out these Airbnb.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I checked out various Airbnb in various parts of Veracruz. And I'm in Alvarado. And it's like it's about 30 minutes from the city of Veracruz.
Okay.
But it's out the way. And this would be something that I would be doing. Like this is the type of place I would be in if I was in Statesville. But
Okay.
right now I'm in a 2-bedroom. We're in a 2-bedroom, 2.5 baths. It's gated. It's security at the front, security guard at the front. They also do maintenance. The man comes to take out the man. I'm sorry. Hold on. All right. The person comes. It's a person that comes and takes out the garbage. I don't even know where the garbage is. They cleaning is included in my rent. What else? I think some toiletries or something. Oh, the utilities are included in my rent. I'm paying less than $1,000. Okay. I'm paying less than $1,000.
Wow.
So again, I told you what I was paying in the bank.
Yeah. Yeah. We heard.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was make sure you have a passport and make sure you actually visit the places
Right.
for a while that you're thinking about moving to.
Take
And
multiple trips.
yeah,
Take
multiple trips. In multiple areas.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And you have to build relationships. That's with anything though. You have to build relationships with people. You have to build
Absolutely.
relationships with people. There is no way that I could maneuver the way I've been able to if I didn't know anybody here.
That's right.
I don't know Spanish. I didn't look. I took Spanish in undergrad. I took a class maybe a year ago or so. Mimo is my tutor. Baby, I'm still poquito español. I say because of my age, basically, it's
Yeah.
harder. I'm gonna have to embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, people are very patient with me,
Yeah.
and I'll pull out that translate in a minute. Hey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even last night, the security person I had left out and just to take a walk, and I came back in, and the guy was like, he's speaking to me in Spanish, and I'm like, I don't know what. And
Yeah.
so I pulled out my phone, and he was offering me. I thought he was offering me water, but I ended up it was hamaka. Agua de Jamaica, which is Jamaican. It's spelled Jamaican in English, but they
Yeah.
say uh,
Jamaica.
so it's basically hibiscus,
Uh-huh.
and that's my favorite drink. And so he just was like, "Hey, you want some?" Basically, and poured me a cup.
That's so nice.
Yeah, that's
Just
being
just being nice. But that's what you're talking about, building relationships. And then like you didn't say this, but I guess trying to make sure you learn the language at least a little bit before you get there, that will be helpful.
yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. I have to take Mimo with me on different places because,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Or at least having access, like having a translator
Ex-
or something,
right,
to make
right.
things easier and safer. So we about 5 minutes till we reach an hour. Can you tell us about the retreat you have coming up?
Yeah, so it's transition to wellness retreat. It's in Boca del Rio at this resort with a private beach. I've stayed at this resort. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Basically, I'm all about wellness. I am all about being well, mentally, physically being well. And I wanted to offer that to whoever,
Mm-hmm.
to whoever. Part of the retreat um, is touring Veracruz, Cordoba, and Younger. So I'm
Okay.
giving you an Afrocentric tour as well. The yoga, we're gonna have yoga, and yoga is being led by Malika, Miss Bonafide Creations and Yoga. She's a yoga instructor out of Massachusetts, and I actually met her at a jazz festival at the what is it? What's that? Because I was in Rhode Island, Newport, at the Newport Jazz Fest. I met
Oh,
her.
the Newport, the main joint.
Newport,
Okay.
Newport Jazz Fest. Um, and so she's a yoga instructor. She does meditation. She does the sound bowls, all that good stuff. I'm more on the kind of like counseling end of it. I've
Uh-huh.
done, look, I've done a lot of counseling.
Yeah, I'm sure in public school system.
Right. I've done a
Yeah.
lot of. I've done it even in my position as an assistant principal. It was a lot of, you know. Um, but yeah, I'm on that. I'm on the journal. Let's journal, right? I'm gonna give you some prompts. I'm more on, what is it? What do you want your life to look like?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want?
Yeah,
I am very much for helping people find their purpose in life. Because we all have a purpose, and it's not just the work of 9 to 5.
that's right.
It's not just that. So I have
Mm-hmm.
that, and that's March 19th through the 22nd. I feel like it's a very reasonable price because I've seen retreats that can go into $2,000 to $3,000.
Yeah.
Mine is depending on if you're by yourself or if you're coming with someone is less than 15. I'll say that. So this is gonna be the first one in Veracruz. And I do see myself doing more. I actually also see myself going to Belize and doing some as well with the Garifuna. With the
Mm-hmm.
Garifuna. Um, Also, we are offering younger tours. I have my son down here because he's gonna help me with this business. And Younger Nation tours,
Okay.
and
I love
Younger
it.
tours, and what we're gonna do the Afrocentric tour. We're giving you history. We're giving
Mm-hmm.
you Veracruz, Afro Mexican state with a lot of history. Um, if you subscribe to my YouTube, you'll see a lot of what's a lot of that African history on my YouTube channel. And then
What's your YouTube channel?
it is V Wood Media. I need to get my subscribers up, so if you all can subscribe, that'll be great. Uh, and then also one reason why I'm here is also to work on my book. People have been telling me for years I should write a book.
Mm-hmm.
My experience has been um, very different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I started on it, and I definitely want to finish it soon. So, and it's called "Let the Chips Fall Where They May." And but yeah, that's that is what we have going on. And like my son Aaron, he definitely will find his purpose here. I think he's a very privileged young man to be able to. Hey, you living out of the country, you get that experience. And you also get the experience of people embracing you and don't have to look over your shoulder all the time thinking somebody's going to do something to you. You know, the
I'm
police.
very happy that he gets to have that experience and that type of security.
The police are not. I rarely see the police,
Wow, that is
and
that
they
is a stark change. Imagine
and
what that does for the was not the adrenal system. What is that? Like the nervous system to
right.
have that type of peace.
I used to be worried about him driving.
Mm-hmm.
he would drive to work or whatever. I used to be worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, we're not driving anywhere here, but still, you know, I don't have to worry about that. Eventually we will be. I don't, eventually I'll get a vehicle here. But, the way Mexicans drive, honey, I'm like, I don't know. I, don't- I understand more now how they drive in the US, because how they drive here is absolutely, I don't know why there aren't more accidents. Like it's very interesting.
Because they know it. It's their system, so they know how to work it. But listen,
And
we hit the hour mark. My baby's calling me. I
okay,
got it.
okay.
Yeah. But
Thank
thank
you
you
so
so much.
much.
Yes, thank you for sharing your experience. And you know, I think the people who watch this will be inspired to get the thing going, get the ball rolling, because you made it sound very, very simple. I mean, I'm sure it's not quite easy, but like just getting started, it's something as
But
simple
it
as getting your
but,
passport. Yeah,
but it could be though.
it could
It,
be.
it could be.
Mm,
Everything be hard.
that's right.
Everything doesn't have to be hard. We just definitely have to use our resources that we definitely have.
Yeah.
You know. So, and that's if you go to my website vwoodsmedia.com, I have consultations. I have the consultation service that I can talk to you. Talk to people about that. So yeah, I think that is it. Thank you so much. I
Thank
do want
you.
to end this because my uncle passed on yesterday, and I'm you know he is an ancestor. You
Yeah.
know, I want to acknowledge that.
Rest in
Um,
peace, Uncle Ronnie.
yeah, Uncle Ronald Porter. All right, right, and rest in peace to the people who died in the plane collision.
Yeah.
Um, it's a lot going on in the states, and I felt all of that.
Mm,
Being I am, I feel all of that, and we have to stay well. So whatever people need to do to be well, please
mm.
do. Please do that. Whatever that looks like for you,
Yes, you
please.
have to know you deserve it,
Right.
and like you were saying, it doesn't have to be hard.
You don't have to go through hardships. You don't have to. I can talk all day about that. You got people who are working jobs, like people my age have been on jobs over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And in the South, no one is talking about wellness, giving people wellness time off, to
Yeah.
get time off to embrace
Yeah.
well, be okay.
Yeah.
And there's
Mental health day or something at least.
hmm,
I said
a
at
mental
least a mental health day. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Please take mental health, even if your job doesn't offer it, please take it for yourself.
Yeah.
You know. But all right. All
All
right.
right, we're gonna do this again though. Thank you again, cousin.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Peace.